Welcome to Her View from Within. Today's guest is a powerhouse in every sense of the word, a devoted mom, a loving wife, and a passionate Optavia coach who has made it her passion to help women become the best versions of themselves. Her journey is one of dedication, heart, and transformation. She continues to inspire those around her to reach their goals, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Erin, welcome to Her View from Within.
Oh, girl, welcome. Yes, thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Absolutely. Before we get started, can you just introduce yourself to our listeners, who you are, maybe how we know each other?
Yeah, wow, that's a great question, too. So I feel like I know you a couple different ways,
Yes.
but I'll start with me. So I'm Erin Barenfus. I am born and raised in Sioux City, Iowa, and my husband and I have really embraced a healthy lifestyle. And so when we met, we clicked in that area, and so we have a business now that we do together. I work from home, and it's really my life's work to help specifically women, but people in general, since we can do it together as a couple. But I want women to feel strong and confident in who they are and who God created them to be, but to step into their God-given purpose as their best, healthiest, confident self. And so everything that I do, my life's work, like I just try to bring that to people.
And I can see that on your face.
Oh,
you are
it just
just
lights me
beaming
up.
and light. Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So, well, and I just feel like when I can help ignite that in other women, that's like our God-given potential. Like that's when you feel your best, is when you are walking in that purpose.
Women helping women.
Right. And there's literally nothing more rewarding than when you see that light flicker on in someone's life that has never even had that before. So I love that I get to do that. I know you from back in high school.
Way back.
Basketball together. Like you were the killer freshman when I think I was a senior.
You were a senior. I was a freshman. Yes.
Yeah. And we're like, oh, who's this Raina chick? Like she's awesome. So yeah, we vibed really well right away. And then, yeah, life happens. You build families. And then recently we got connected again through our Optavia business.
Yes.
And yeah, just life. So it's good.
It's cool to have it full circle. Like you said, we high school went with life, but now we're back
Moms,
we're
families,
back
purpose.
doing something else together.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so you wear many hats. Wife, mom, coach, encourager. Take us back to before all that. Who was Erin before Optavia, before your husband, before kids?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think God gave me the gift very early on of encouragement. And so I was just someone who loved being active. I love being outside. I love encouraging people. That's a natural tendency for me. So even like coaching now, like it's really easy for me to encourage
Even
people.
in high school, I was that freshman on the basketball team, and you were that senior that was willing to help, be nice, encourage. You were just there.
Yeah. That's me. Like that's my natural vibe, is to encourage, to bring joy. The part of me that's grown is the challenging part, the actual coaching, like the stuff you don't want to hear but need to hear. And so that friendly fire is something that I've tried to bring to my clients, to people around me. But yeah, that's really who I was before I even knew what God had in store for me.
And before you did work that typical 9 to 5, and I know you've talked about that a lot.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, so I worked a 9 to 5 job in a composite manufacturing company. So they built composite parts for customers like Boeing or Airbus, and I worked in the customer service department of that. So I interned in college. I thought I was going to be like customer service marketing. My major was public relations, so like I carry a little bit of that now, business minors. I have some of that now, but yeah, gosh, to go from that to what I do now, it's crazy.
And how did you've spoken before, I've seen on your post, how that wasn't fulfilling you.
Right. Yeah, and like I was thinking on the drive over here, I was like, wow, like that was ballsy, Erin. Like not very many people at, I think it was 28 at the time, would leave their 8 to 9 to 5 job to do what they felt called to do with no guaranteed paycheck, a parent, a father in particular, that was like grew up in the banking world and is so traditional. But I did have a support, I will say.
That was my next question. Like, how did your parents react to, Erin, what are you doing?
Think, they've always had this faithful, like, just vision with their parenting as well. And so I think they just like trusted me, and they knew what I was stepping into did sound like something that would be a good fit for me. And so even while they were like probably insides like squirming,
what is our daughter doing?
She's living a guaranteed paycheck with benefits and all the things. I think they just kind of like trusted me to go do it, and they believed that I could. And you know, at the end of the day, and I'd say this to women now, like, if it doesn't work out, so what? Like, you could always go back to that.
Right.
And sometimes we just put so much pressure on ourselves. I just kind of think I was at the time, like I said, like not fulfilled with what I was doing. Like, I liked talking to people on the phone. I liked the people that I worked with to a certain degree.
Right. Can't love everybody. Yep.
But at the end of the day, I was like, too many people were getting the credit for the work that I was doing. I mean, I kind of was like bottom of the totem pole when I came in there. And then even as I like earned my clout, I felt like I would still do excellent work, but other people would get credit for it.
Right.
And so I never really saw a guarantee or just even a path forward at the pace that I wanted within that industry. And so when I felt like I had an opportunity that was me, that was what my heart felt called to do, I kind of just didn't worry about the guarantees. I was just like, I will figure it out as I go. And I just went for it. I trusted mentors that believed in me to do that and had been successful in that area. And so I just focused on that, and I kind of just tuned out everything else.
So before that, when you were working that job,
Yeah.
were you thinking, I need to leave this? Or were you just like, this is what it is, I'll just stay here and just, this is my life?
The second part, I 100% just was kind of like, oh, is this like what it's supposed to be?
This is adulthood.
Yeah. Like, and I will say, like, I felt that way, but I also had a part of me that was like, there has got to be more than this. Like, this is not fulfilling. This is a job. This is not life's work. This is not meaning. This is not impact for me. I feel like there are so many more people that I can touch with my gift of encouragement than I can in this cubicle.
Right.
And that was enough of a reason for me to just at least question where I was at and pursue something else.
Which would lead you to Optavia.
Yes.
Why don't you explain to people who don't know, what is it?
Yeah. So Optavia honestly is it's a business, but is a mission to help individuals create health in their life and to optimize their life into whatever is the best way that they can be them. And I love that for so many people, we are just in this current state of health, of lack of health, and people are seeking a solution for weight loss. And oftentimes that comes in the form of what's so popular now is like a GLP-1 drug. Mm-hmm. And while I can be for that in conjunction with lifestyle change and other measures and support, that's just another like quick Band-Aid solution because people want to make a change and they don't know how. Like, that's the root of the problem. Like, I think it's really easy. This is a little bit off topic, but like, I feel like it's so easy when we want to blame people for being lazy or being overweight. Like, they're not doing what they, no, like, sometimes people just grew up in an environment where that's all they know and they have never had someone teach them a different way. And so it is generational that they are passing it on to their family to have unhealthy habits. And until someone steps in and says, oh no, like you can literally break that chain. That's what I get to do.
Like you said, they don't know how. They simply don't know how.
Yes. And so my role as an Optavia coach is to come next to women. Again, I'll say this particular. We have men and women.
Right.
Yeah. I have a heart for women.
Absolutely.
So to come next to them and be like, well, what do you want? And it is a weight loss for a lot of women to start because whether it's they just had a baby or they were like I was and they were like just totally out of balance in terms of what their priorities looked like. Like I had this idea in my head of what I wanted to accomplish with my own health, but I had an unhealthy addiction to exercise to try achieve that. Like I had no idea how to fuel my body properly. So wherever women are at, I know that there's a deep-rooted desire to like show up well for their family, and sometimes they just don't know how. And Optavia is the vehicle that has given me that purpose and the light to know how to do better. And so now I get to pass that on to other people.
And help people find out their why.
Right.
Because I know I've done Optavia with you.
Yeah.
I've done it. It works.
Yes.
And I know you've always said find your why.
You have to, right? Because there are so many diets that you could do. And initially with any diet, you're going to have success with it. You know, if you follow the plan, it'll work for a season. Right. But what happens when you get around, you know, a social setting that's challenging? If you're not crystal clear on why are you choosing the hard of health, you will slip back into what your environment is. And so you have to have that why. For me, it's to show up as a strong, confident mom, strong, confident wife, the best version of me for my family, and now for the world around me and the women I'm leading as well. But if I don't have that clear in my mind, oh my gosh, it's so easy on days like today to quit, to not show up. But I know that there's a bigger reason that I have to.
And how did you get started with Optavia?
Oh, love it. Good. So my husband, well, he was not my husband at the time, but when I was working at my 9 to 5, he opened a gym across the street from where I was working. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, this would be convenient to just go over here at lunchtime. Went over there, ended up being the first gym member there. He saw, again, not my husband at the time, but he saw my natural tendency to coach people there. And so I started coaching CrossFit classes with his, invitation. And I got to a point where I was like, I can only help the people within the gym walls. They would come up to me, they'd see me as a resource, and they're like, well, Erin, what should I do to lose 10 to 15 pounds? Well, I gave them what I knew, which was not helpful, but it was like, oh, you gotta eat more protein and you gotta eat less crap. Like, okay, cool, but like, that's not helpful.
Like how?
Yes.
What?
And like, yeah, so I had nothing concrete or predictable to give them. However, I knew then at the time that my husband now, again, had lost 75 pounds at the time with the program. At that point, it was called Take Shape for Life, but he told me about it. He was like, hey, like, it worked for me. This is a little bit about it. It would give you the vehicle that you need outside of the gym. So I was like, okay, like, tell me more about it. Like, I'm an open book. I'll hear what you have to say. And I really thought at the time it was going to be like another pyramid scheme. I was so skeptical, but at the same time, I did see a need for that. And I trusted his belief in me to be sharing it. Like, if it worked for him, the results don't lie. Like, okay, tell me more.
His picture is amazing.
Right?
Before and after.
Like, he was overweight, and this program saved his life.
Right.
So, okay, it's got my attention. So I actually said yes to programs, skeptical, but again, I'm 28. I'm like, whatever.
Right.
Like, I will just try it because who cares? What if I fail? Why not? And what I saw was that I wasn't able to coach my clients well until I experienced the program myself. So like, I signed up as a coach at first, but like, it is so incongruent for me to tell you what to do and follow this program that I've never done myself.
Right.
And so when I took the step of committing to the program to myself, I learned that I had a very unhealthy relationship with food and
most people do.
Exercise, right? Like, and that's where I can relate. It's like, I don't care if you have 200 pounds to lose. Like, I lost 15 pounds initially, but I guarantee I was holding more weight between my ears with my negative mindset and just how I was viewing food. Like, I would work out for 3 hours on a Sunday afternoon and go home and binge eat because I was like starving. And so it just was such a unhealthy balance between those two things. Not to mention the fact, like, I'm spending 3 hours at the gym rather than with my family, going to church, like taking my Sabbath day on a Sunday. So like, that's just a little glimpse into where I was before.
But I do love the fact that you bring the aspect of you didn't have so much weight to lose. Like, you didn't have 100, 200 pounds to lose. You didn't have that much, but it gave you so much more than just, I lost weight.
Right. Yeah, and that's, again, what I love about our program is, like, it's so much more about the community and the sport and the lifestyle change that now, fast forward, when I do have my daughter and I can follow the Nursing Moms program to lose 30 pounds postpartum, like, my 28-year-old self didn't know that I was going to need support of a coach and a community and a program at that point in my life. But now I see so many different women at that stage that now I've walked through that journey and I can help them. And so I love that literally God has given me, and I have everything that I need to support the people that he puts in my path, because I can share my story, I can share what I've done. And if I don't have a particular like weight loss story to empathize with them, like, I have the tools and other people within my tribe that I can connect them with and still empathize with, because again, the weight is relative, but it's deep rooted in something very similar. And that's all I really need to do, is to figure out what it is that really deep hurt is for a woman. And we can walk forward through that together. And then the weight loss is kind of just like,
it's a bonus.
Yes.
Because most of it's mental.
It is.
Right.
Yes.
And I think that's hard for people to even grasp.
Yep.
Because you think of weight loss, that's all you think of is just weight, not what mental things are going on in my head that can also improve.
The weight is often there because it's a coping mechanism for something else. We're stress eating, we're emotionally eating, we have a lack of fulfillment in our life that we're compensating with alcohol, with food. It's deeply rooted in something else always. And so I always say too, my journey has been a healing journey, and you really have to embrace the journey part of it, because again, otherwise you might lose that weight initially, but if you don't have the mindset of like growth, continual growth moving forward, you're just wanting to, even when you get to that goal, like a lot of women, they just want to maintain. Well, we don't even have a maintenance program. We have an optimization program, because if you are not eyes focused forward on what's next, and again, what God has called you to, you're going to revert back to what you know, because that's what's comfortable. And our human tendency is to like avoid discomfort.
Right.
And,
Yep.
and so, yeah, there's that structural tension constantly, but we have to be clear on our why in order to keep moving forward.
And I think it makes it more special too that your now husband introduced you to that.
Mm-hmm.
So he had gone through it and he brought you along. So how close, I guess, did that bring you guys before you even got married? Like, how did... Take me through
I think
that.
it just gave me like such a respect for him, because he never pushed it upon me, but it was again just such a natural, like, I see this skill in you, it's changed my life, I think that it would be a great fit, like you can impact the world around you. And so I just so admire him for giving me that gift. And while we didn't know we were going to even date or whatever at the time, like God had bigger plans in store. And so now we get to do it together
Every day.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to, you know what I mean? Like, who doesn't want to work with their spouse every day?
Yeah.
Do you think that's what that's what brought you guys together?
Yeah.
Take me through that, because he was married before.
Yeah.
Was divorced. Mm-hmm. And now you have 3 awesome sons he brought along with you. Yeah. Take me through that experience of starting to date, bringing the boys in.
Yeah, so it all sounds so beautiful now, right? But anybody that's gone through like blended families,
yes.
Like, it's hard, and there's a muddy season. So if I think back to that, it was hard. I guess there's really not a great way to say it, but trusting again that like even there can be beautiful things in divorce, right? You know, and that's okay. Tissues, no. No, I think God works all things for good. And if I can see now, you know, the kids got through that season, and we got through that season, their mom is better off now. Their dad is way better off. Let's just say that. No.
Pat on the back.
Yeah. No, I think it's so easy to see things this chapter.
Yeah.
But if we were to go back, it's like, oh man, like, I'm glad that we just were continuing to pursue what we saw God called us towards versus like listening to the world around us.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I know you guys are an age gap too.
Yeah.
11 years, is that right? And I know, obviously, my husband and I are 10 years.
Yep.
Did you get hate for that?
Yes.
Because I know we probably still do. We just don't care. But we did too.
Yeah. So, and I think, you know, at the time I credited it a lot to like small town gossip, but that's not necessarily the case for you guys. And so I think just in general, it's that, that's different. And it's easy to point out something different in somebody else, then like want to take a hard look at maybe some of the flaws in your own life. And like I wouldn't even say it a flaw, but it was different. And so when we're going through that season and nobody like gets it, I think it was just kind of like
you feel like you're being judged all the time for it.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think what kept me crystal clear on it was like, to a certain extent, like I didn't care like if the school librarian or whoever it was that was talking crap about us, like I didn't care if she didn't like agree with it. What mattered to me was that I saw more joy in the future and purpose in the pain than like what was happening in that season. And I think the other part of it was like my parents supported me. I remember when we first when we introduced Jeff to my parents, they were like, oh, like they saw him as older, but that was not their concern. It's like, oh, we kind of always have just seen you as someone more mature for age, and like the it doesn't really surprise me.
That's funny, because that's exactly what my mom said to me, too.
You know, and I think, like, for me, that just was, like, reassuring.
To have your parents be. Yeah, out of all people. Yes.
Yeah. And, like, now, we get less hate for it now, because I think it's like with anything. Like, if you're young and you're coming out of college and you're dating somebody 11 years older than you and they have their career, well, that looks a little bit more significant, because the world wants to see that as, like, this, like, huge, big thing of, like, whatever it is, you know, call it what it is. But at this point, it's like, we just kind of knew, like, we're gonna stay together. Like, we will prove it to you. Like,
we will prove it to you.
Yeah.
It's that.
Yeah. And now it's kind of like, you can just quiet the gossip, because now we've been together for over 5 years, and...
Yeah, you married 6? Have you married?
Well,
6 years?
We got married in 2019, engaged in 18, so it was 5 in February, right? Yeah. That's not amazing.
You've been married a while now.
I feel like we've earned
You've earned that. Like you said, you're gonna...
Yeah.
How do you think that dynamic affects your relationship, the age gap?
Yeah. I think for me, it's helped so much to gain perspective in the world. And again, like, okay, I'm 28 at the time that I leave my 9 to 5, like, but I also had somebody who had been running his own business, like, breathing that perspective into me. And now I look at 34, is that how old I am? Like, there's not many 35-year-old business owners that have a profitable business, that they're, like, largely online based and, like, earning money through Facebook. Like, it's just all these non-traditional things that, like, my 28-year-old self didn't know that, but my husband had a non-traditional way of thinking and a business mindset, and I was like, okay. And so it helps to have someone who's further down the road, and so I think it's just helped me to be more relatable to both an older audience and a younger audience.
Yep, couldn't agree more. Yep.
I think what's also unique is, like, there was this season 2 where I feel, and maybe you've had this, but, like, since there is an age gap, it's kind of like which age gap do we hang out with? Like, who are our friends? You know? Yes. Like, because if we hang out with my friends, and nothing against, like, most 35-year-old women who haven't dated an 11-year-old or guy, like, they're not as mature. And so what matters to them, like, they're maybe just starting a family. So, like, they maybe just have, like, their 2-year-old daughter. Yep. They're just starting. And I'm like, I have 3 older boys. One of them just went to college. Like, okay. And so that's just all different seasons of life, like, I've already walked through. And yes, having a toddler or an infant was, like, brand new to me. But at the same time, I'm like, I've been through a lot of, like, the toddler tantrums when the boys were younger. And those are just different perspectives that I can bring to the table. So if I were to meet with somebody my age, I'm like, I kind of feel like I'm still your mom, like, talking to you in this social dynamic.
I feel that so much, because a lot of people, like, my age, like, I'm 31, are just now getting married and having kids. My oldest is 9.
Yes.
So I 100%.
Yeah, and then at the same time, I find that we probably hang out with my husband's age.
Yep, so do we.
More common, and yet he takes such good care of himself, and I feel like I keep him young, and so then at the same time, I'm like, maybe somewhere in the middle, and yet I feel like, again, it's such a God thing, because I can relate with all of these ages versus, like, right in my generation or whatever it would be.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And back to your boys.
Yeah.
How was that? Starting to date a man that has 3 kids.
I feel like I lucked out. Like, as hard as everything was, that was not hard. The boys were so good to me, always. And I have nothing other to credit it than, like, the joy that I had in my life. And I just get along with kids. And so, even to this day, like, there are things that they don't share with their parents that they'll share with me. I think some of that's because there's not as much of an age gap, and so they feel like they can trust me.
Right. But that's rare, I feel like, to be able to confide in a bonus parent.
Yeah.
Like,
I will say, too, so our middle boy, in particular, had a hard time with a divorce. He was really close with Jeff, and I think he really felt like Jeff left him and abandoned him. And so if any of them had some pushback, I didn't even feel like it was isolated to me, but probably us. And so he would act out when he would be with us. Totally normal.
Right.
what the breaking point was a summer during COVID. He had one of his breakouts, and I literally remember just like holding him outside on the deck, arms like crossed as I like pinned him to me, and we're sitting in the heat on the deck. And he, again, I just held him. I don't know how long it was, but I was like, I am not letting you just gonna go like slam a door like you would sometimes. Like, we're just gonna sit here, yes, and embrace him. And we then proceeded into the house. I start breaking down with him, and we just like connected as I leveled with him. And I was like, bud, this is not fun for me either. Like, I don't like it when you're in trouble. I don't like any of the things. And I honestly think like for him, he was just like felt seen.
Right.
Like all of a sudden somebody was recognizing like he was hurting, and
you were willing to show yourself.
100%. I think he had never seen like, oh my gosh, like, okay. And honestly, that's probably the biggest breakthrough for us. But for me, even as a parent now, to just know like it's really okay to show emotions and explain where they're coming from.
Right.
Like, I think he just, and yeah, so that was a huge breakthrough, and he and I have connected on a different level ever since then. And honestly, like that experience, I would say to anyone, like, just be open with your kids. Like, so oftentimes we feel like we have to be angry or we yell at them. And I honestly was just like, this is not fun for me either. Like, I just want to, like, I know you're upset. I don't like it when you get in trouble. Like,
right.
And to just level with them.
Let your kids know you're human.
Yes.
Like, let them, let them see you cry.
Yeah.
Let them see you cry.
And, like, I cry because I'm sad, so explaining this is why it's affecting me, or I cry because I'm angry, and, like, they know I cry a lot. I cry because I'm excited. Like, we're crying at our wedding day. They're like, why are you crying?
Excited tears, guys.
Yes,
like I said, letting them see your emotions. Because I think for probably most parents, they don't do that.
Right.
I know a couple weeks ago we had to put one of our dogs down, and it was probably the first time my kids have seen my husband like lose it.
Yeah.
Because he's big, strong daddy, doesn't do that. And I think that was even hard. That was hard for me to see him like that. But like you said, letting them see that, especially for our oldest, like she was even asking questions like we've never seen you guys like that before.
Right.
But I think that, like you said, with your son, it lets you connect on a deeper level. And it transitions because now you guys have that. Yeah. He knows he can be vulnerable with you. Right. And that you'll give it.
Yeah. And I think it teaches kids too, like you can be both. Like your husband, you can be strong, big, tough, protector, dad, provider, and also have a heart and hurt and experience sad emotions, because sometimes I do think we impose on our kids that you can only be strong and tough, and
especially boys.
Yes, and be a great baseball player. Yep. But like, can you like baseball and also like music and also like have all these different skills that maybe the world would say don't align? Absolutely. Right. But word service is just that, unless we show them that you can do both.
Right.
Yeah.
You're raising good men.
I try. We're all just trying, though, aren't we? We're all just trying to do our best.
Moms are trying. Women are trying.
We are just trying.
How did it affect the boys bringing Little Miss into the world?
Again, I just feel like those boys are God's gift to me. Like, thank you to my husband for them. And my daughter, but also them. They were so gracious. Like, I think I know God was looking out for us, because we did have our miscarriage, but then we had this beautiful girl, and like, now we have the 3 older boys, we have our little girl. They wanted a little girl because we already have brothers, like, you know, so it just was like, thank you, God.
A little protector.
Like, yeah. And so they have loved having her. Everything that we could have questioned about how, you know, they have to go back to their moms on the weekend. Like, are they going to start to feel like they're not getting attention? Or are they going to question that? Or is Evelyn going to question that? Anytime any of those kind of, like, thoughts that we would think come up in our head, like, it's just come into a natural conversation, honestly, that they've brought up. And so we haven't even had to, like, address it in a really awkward standpoint. Like, they get it. I think everyone gets it because we're pretty open about, like, they're going to go to their mom's house, or she gets, you know, so it's just, and everyone feels, like I said before, seen when they're with us. And so we do try to be really intentional when they're with us, but like, I don't know, they're just they're good boys. And so they've embraced Evelyn. They've embraced me. There's just a lot of love in our house.
Going back a little bit, backtracking a little bit to your miscarriage.
Yeah.
Did the boys know about that? Did that affect...
Yeah, so, and that's, again, another thing.
And I know you didn't share that for a while.
Right, we did not share it with them. And that was one of those things that was like, well, when do we bring it up to them? And God really opened the door. We were having devotionals with the boys before bedtime. I don't even remember what the devotional was about, but somehow it got brought up. And so we were talking, I remember what it was. Jeff has an olive tattoo on his arm, and they happened to catch it as he was saying something at devotional time. And they were like, well, what is that for? And so then we talked, because our baby at the time was about the size of an olive. And so we call her Baby Olive.
I love that.
And so then we brought up the miscarriage, and, you know, they were sitting there. They absolutely grasped what was happening. And Colt looked at me, again, the one that I've leveled with.
Yep.
And he was like, oh, so you mean if we would have had Baby Olive, we wouldn't have Evelyn? And we were kind of like, oh, yeah, probably not. And I think in that moment, it was just kind of like
the fact
really?
that he was thinking like that.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
Again, an aha moment of like, kids get it
right.
if you give them the opportunity. And it, like, I hadn't even thought of it that way.
Right.
And I think it just brought me such a peace about all of it, because I was like, oh.
Like,
yeah.
God had a different plan. God had a plan for
looked,
Evelyn.
It would have looked very different. We really felt like, you know, I kind of thought I was going to have multiple kids with Jeff. And the way the miscarriage happened, we tried kind of a while in between then, and then we got pregnant with Evelyn. And like, again, he's got 3 older boys. Right. He's 11 years old. So he was like, I don't want to be the grandpa showing up at the girls.
I feel that. My husband cut me off at 3. Yep.
Yes. And I just, I respected his position in that enough, and was just like, I said, at peace with our angel baby, with our Evelyn, our girl, and our 3. I was just kind of like, like, this is a beautiful family. If God has other plans down the road, like, we can be open and obedient to that. But like,
now you're at peace with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you speak a lot about your faith in God.
Yeah.
Have you always had that, or is that something that you've, I guess, grown into?
I've always had it. I would say my ability to articulate it and see his handiwork has grown, and I think a large part of that has to do with, like, when you grow up, you go through hard things, and if you want to choose a perspective of faith and obedience, you can see that in all of it. But yeah, that requires intentionality and faith and obedience to make that happen. But yes, I've had my faith since I accepted Jesus as my savior, and I think it was like elementary school, at like camp.
Somebody grew up with your parents.
Yeah. Brought
you up, like.
Yeah.
And how does your job with Optavia and your faith intersect?
Yeah. Honestly, it is one. It is all one. And I love that I get to be a part of a company and a mission that allows me to use my faith as a vehicle, because I really feel like God has called us to be the best version of ourselves, and that does require us to bless our body with what we put in it. Not just our mouth, but our mind, our overall well-being, who we show up as in the world. And so I love that it's all of it. And I mean, even from a practical standpoint, like, I don't fast frequently, but you know, it's very common, like, if someone wanted to fast, that they're praying at that time rather than eating. And so if you just kind of see that relationship at times, where if you're having an unhealthy craving, well, that's probably because we're craving something of this world versus what is deeply rooted in what God's calling us to crave.
And your daily routines, do you have a lot of daily routines that have to do with your faith?
Yeah, so I have a morning routine. I typically start, do my goals, gratitude. I take some time to pray. Sometimes that window gets shortened if my daughter wakes up in the morning.
Of course, kids.
Again, mom life. But yeah, I like to be really intentional on showing up for myself first and taking that quiet time. And if it doesn't happen to its full extent, then it always happens. I love working out with worship music, and so I oftentimes think that, like, that is my jam. We have a home gym. I would turn the music on super loud. I might be in between squat sets, and I'm like praising Jesus because Brandon Lake Praise just came on. That's amazing. And it is amazing,
because that's not something you would think someone would work out to.
Right? And I never used to work out to that. But now it was an intentional decision to do when Evelyn was born, because I wasn't going to be playing gangster rap the rest of my infant.
Get down, Evelyn.
Yes. And honestly, for me, then it just transitioned to really looking forward to that time. I think the sound acoustics are great in our gym. And so it just, I don't know, it just is a way for me to overlap faith and fitness and my worship. And
kind of escape.
It is an escape.
Into your, you're doing something good for your body, but also your mental.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, that's where it's
at. I might have to try that.
You crank that word up. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you talk about how Evelyn is in the gym with you often.
All the time.
So, and I know you've talked a lot about mimicking or, like putting on what you want her to do.
Yeah.
Emulating how you should be.
Right. So I'm a big believer that kids will pick up what you do far more than what you say. And so that's a really, really good checkpoint for me, because like I just get to look at my own life and be like, am I proud of this? Because if I'm not, then I need to make a change, because I can see right away when she like picks up something. I'm like, where did you learn that? Wasn't from me. Who did, like, or oh my gosh, I do that.
That's me.
I shut the drawer with my foot that way. Like little things like that. And so it's just a really good check for me to be like, what am I modeling for my kids? Those are the most important people that I want to show up for. And so if I can do that well, I feel really good about that. And then I can continue to do that with the women that I want to show up for also.
And do you see your kids modeling you a lot with the fitness and?
Yeah. It's interesting because I do think it's a frequency thing, because Evelyn is a really healthy eater, but we have healthy food in our house all the time. The boys are only with us weekends, long times, at times less frequently.
Right.
And the youngest, who's been with us the longest together, is a little bit more with a healthy eater. The older two are getting into it for different reasons now, because they're in athletics,
older,
so we have to pound like the protein goals in them. But it's a frequency thing too, and so I always have to remember that too. Like, you can model it as much as you can. We explain like our goals can be different than yours. So like if you want to have the hamburger and I'm going to have a hamburger with a lettuce salad, like that's great, because my goals are a little bit different than yours right now. So just having a really healthy dialogue with that too has been really important. But yeah, I think it's
that is crazy to see though, because even like so we do that in our house. Like we try to have our kids I'd rather them grab a fruit than grab chips or something.
Yes.
But at other people's houses, or if we travel with family, it's so different what we what I would buy for the trip versus what others.
And I think part of it is like, in my brain, I have to take my emotions out of that conversation, because like, for example, with what you just shared too, we're going to go on family vacation, and I know there's going to be a snack and a food table there, and there's going to be kids around Evelyn that are going to be eating differently than her. And rather than being like a deprivation mindset of like, oh, you can't have that, we don't eat, like, I'm just going to be like, oh, yep, they're eating differently than you are. Like, we don't eat those things. Or like if she chooses to have like a sucker or something, it's usually like reward because she played at the launch pad or whatever, nice, little things like that. But we don't keep that stuff in our house. She doesn't know anything different. There's a few things that the boys would eat in there, and that's the same conversation. Oh, yep, that's for the boys. Like doesn't have to be explained. Like those are the boys.
That's you said. The hard part is taking the emotion out of it.
Yes.
We recently were on a trip, and my youngest asked for a banana. And somebody else said, well, do you want a cookie? And my face just went to... And... Like, to be able to be like, okay, like, it's fine. Like, oh, like...
But like, why did you... I mean, this is not my thing. But, like, why did you feel like you had to sink back and not say something? You know what I mean? Like, that's the problem, I feel like. Because he's your child, you get to have your influence, and somebody else just imposed what they felt like was best for your kids. Like, I feel like as moms, we should... Again, easier said than done, but, like, we should feel unapologetically okay to be like, oh, no, he's going to eat a banana. It's great that you're offering him a cookie, but, like...
That's such a... and being a mom, that is such a hard line of, no, this is my child, this is what we're doing.
I know.
But trying to be, like... I don't even know if respectful is the right word.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean, to keep peace.
Yes.
But yet.
Yes.
And I'm a terrible mama bear.
Yep.
So.
Well, and like I think that part of that, like in my brain, it's like, am I deciding this for her? Like I want her to also be able to make that choice of the banana or the cookie on her own.
Right.
And so, but at a certain level, it's like, yeah, but we get to set those boundaries for them.
Right.
And that's where it's hard. It's like somebody else deciding,
right.
Oh, like you're depriving them. Like that's the dialogue that's going to happen. I know. It's something like, you're not going to let her have a piece of cake? Like she can. We just like don't. And right now she wouldn't have wanted it unless you shoved it in front of her face. You know, that type of stuff. Like that can be challenging. Yeah.
And I'm sure she's really active too, just from watching you guys. Mm-hmm. And are your boys like that as well?
Yeah, they have always been active. And I think some of that too, again, that's where our goals are different. Right. So it's really easy to be like, oh, if they want to have a few more things, or if Evelyn were to want to have a few more things, or whatever than what I eat, that's great. Like your kid, your goals are different. They're going to burn it off. They're going to go play baseball for 3 hours, whatever.
They don't stop.
So yeah, that's good. Their goals are different than mine.
So you posted a video you were talking
mm-hmm.
At a convention or something, mm-hmm. and you were talking about how people think moms sometimes need to slow down,
mm-hmm.
but you were basically saying don't do that.
Yeah.
So we get that a lot in our house, that we do too much. Our kids do too much. We're always running around.
Yeah. And
people are like, you need to stop. But to me, I feel like I would never be like, no, you can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching that. I actually just watched it yesterday again.
Yeah.
And it just totally sat with me because I was having a conversation with someone who was going to be a mom.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, we were leaving for jiu-jitsu. And they were like, I'm never going to sign my kid up for that much stuff. But like you were saying, moms too much are like, no, I should stop. Yeah. I should take that break instead of.
Yeah. I just feel like, again, that's other people's deep-rooted pain being imposed on you. So whatever it is that they're projecting, that's on them. And I bet since you are very productive with your kids and you like to get a lot out of life, it's because of that. Like you feel like you get one life. And gosh darn it, like if I can get the most out of my 12 waking hours, like we're going to be productive. Like I don't need to be sitting in front of a television absorbing somebody else's values when I can be outside playing with my kids, or they can be doing jiu-jitsu. And so I feel like that's where it's so important that I don't think we necessarily need to be busier, but I think that we can be really intentional with our time and pour into a lot of different areas really well if we're also intentional about pouring into our own cup first. And that's where my morning routine is so important, but also structure and routine. And like, so somebody might look at my life, and I'll even have times when I like go pick up Evelyn from my parents and they want to like sit and chit chat, and I'm like, we got places to be. Like, I don't want to step my fingers
that's how
they're tired. Yep. They have like, they have time and they want to just be, but I'm like I got a lot of things to do and I love doing all of the things, but like that's where structure and routine is good. So once I'm there, I can be fully present there. And because like I don't want to look back and be like, like I wish I would have relaxed on the couch more. Like, I know that's not going to be me. It's going to be like, gosh darn it, like, there was a hurting mom there that if I would have gotten up off my couch and, like, gone out into the ball field with my kid or whatever, like, I'd have seen her, so things like that.
Right. Yeah. Being intentional with your time. I'm like that, too. I'm very, like, no, we're doing this. Mm-hmm. We have to go here, but then we have to go here. Mm-hmm. And very, like, time-wise.
Yeah.
Like, I hate people are late.
Yeah.
That's, like... huge pet peeve of mine.
Oh man, it's a respect thing, right?
Respect, yes.
Yeah.
So when you're going, you mentioned just how you do have to, okay, we're going to do this, this, and this. When you have a client, but you have to kind of, I'm going to say push them along and have those hard conversations. I know back a few years ago, we had a hard conversation.
Yeah.
And recently, probably a couple months ago, you did reach out to me and say how much that helped you.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think, honestly, I have learned so much about coaching in my, 8.5 years that I've been coaching because, mentorship makes a huge difference. And I will say that from the standpoint of, like, initially when I started this business, it was like trying to get people, so you're trying to, like, pull people along, get them, all the things. But I've learned that you literally will never get somebody unless you get them, unless you understand what their need is. And so that's been a huge area of growth for me. But I also think, like, admitting, like, where it came to you, I was like, girl, I screwed up. I did not treat you the way you needed to be. And, like, admitting and taking ownership and personal responsibility has been a huge part in, like, a coach, but like a person.
A person. That's so hard to do anyway.
Yeah.
To, like you said, take ownership.
Right. It's way easier to deflect and like,
That's something I've been trying so hard to do as well. Like you just said, my husband is huge on, I don't know if you know who Jocko Willink is.
Yeah.
Okay. We love Jocko in our house, and he's huge on taking ownership.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I remember it for you was a time thing, which is interesting because, like, scheduling is so important for us. And so, while for me, like, schedule is so important, I've had to also be flexible and recognize women in different stages of their life. Like, at that time, I didn't have Evelyn. It was, like, just me at home working full time. Yep. You had your kids, and I remember it was, like, trying to make you fit into my schedule. And, like, how dare me? Like, I should have been like, Raina, let me come to your house at, like, nap time or whatever it was that you needed to help you because your schedule was a busy mom at that time. Like, I think when I got into this business, and really up until like the last couple of years ago, which has been a huge shift in our business because of it, I was expecting a flexible business before I earned a flexible business. And so I was making others fit into my schedule when I needed to meet them where they were at.
Like I said, the fact that what I said, you took that to heart and you recognized it. You didn't just shut it out, which is
text. No,
right, which is huge personal growth in general. Yeah. And I think that's hard for a lot of people to do. Do you have to have hard conversations like that with your clients? Or are they at that state that they're like, yes, I need to change, I'm willing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's both. It's definitely both. But I think, like, when it came, like, your message to me when I was not mature enough to handle it would have been, like, defensive and unwilling to, like, experience where you were coming from and to see your perspective. And so I think what I get to help clients do is to really gain emotional competence so that they're not taking everything personally, which, I mean, I did that for
it's hard.
Years. Yeah. And so sometimes just recognizing, this is a long answer for what you asked me, but I think, like, seeing, like, I valued you as a person and I trusted you so that I respected what you were saying to me versus, like, someone that I haven't built trust with that's gonna, you know, talk crap or, like, have something negative say. Like, that might go in a different filter. But you gain the emotional awareness of, like, considering the source of that feedback. And so when it comes to my clients now, I try to build trust with them first, which often comes with, like, my encouragement. I think that my social media presence, they just get to know me years before they probably ever even reach out. And so we feel like we're connected before I actually know them. So then it gives me the ability to challenge them at times when their actions are not aligning with their why, when their actions are not aligning with their initial health assessment, what they said they wanted to make a change for. Like, I get to contend for their why and be the advocate for them when they're choosing Doritos over their cheddar crunchers. You know, like, I get to be the one, like, wait a minute, like, you told me this is what you wanted, but this is not what you're doing, you know. And so that's where sometimes that friendly fire gets to come in. I be like,
friendly fire,
but wait a minute, like, no, we're not.
And you said you talked about your social media presence.
Yeah.
How hard or rewarding has that been to share all that information about yourself?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it's grown as you've done it.
Right. And it is easier now, I would say, to share because some of what, like, that maturity comes to the place I was just like, there's going to be haters. There's going to be. So expecting some of that, but also I always remind myself of who I'm sharing for. Yeah. I'm sharing for the girl that I used to be. And so if I can filter through the people who are not supportive of that. Like, that's okay. They don't have to agree with what I'm doing.
Right.
I don't need to please everyone. And quite frankly, I'm not for everyone. And that's also okay.
Right.
But who I'm sharing for, who I'm willing to be vulnerable for, is the girl that I used to be, who was lacking fulfillment, who had unhealthy boundaries, who dealt with anxiety, like the postpartum mama, like even, move forward through your journey. And so that's who I share for. And so it's really easy when you get pushback from somebody who's not that. It's like, oh, that's okay. That's not part of my plan. So I don't really have a problem sharing vulnerability, because I can recognize, again, God's using my story, and I just remember who I'm sharing for.
I love that mindset of it. It's who, like you said, reminding yourself who you're sharing it for.
Yeah.
Like you said, people are going to hate on it.
Right.
They're going to.
Some people just thrive on it. And I think, honestly, like, knowing that, too, it's just kind of like, that's more about them than it is about me. And I can see that pretty easily now, too.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of your younger self, what would you say to your younger self?
Oh, I would tell her thank you. Like, she kept showing up during some pretty tough days, and, like, we did it, Like, I think there's a level of, like, continue to be faithfully obedient, like, and she had some grit, so, like, go girl. But, like, thank you for just not quitting, like, because I would not get to experience the blessings that I have today.
Right.
If I wanted to quit, or if I would have quit. So,
right.
Thank you. Right. Thank you for showing up.
What about to a woman that's listening to this right now that is feeling stuck, or that's feeling like they need help?
Do you think, like, getting help in her health, or stuck in her job? Like,
yes.
Getting out. Yeah. I think
all of it.
Usually, I feel like women are so intelligent, and if we were to just like take the amygdala, that overthinker thing in your brain, out. Like, we talk about that in Optavia. Dr. Anderson says, like, literally, if we were to cut out the amygdala and just do, like, what you need to do. So, like, if we were to just trust our gut rather than thinking about what the neighbor's going to say, what my mom's going to say, what my Aunt Polly's going to say, like, and just do the thing, I think we would be further along than, like, the stuck position we're in. And if I think at every position in my life where I felt stuck, it's because I'm choosing comfort over my calling, over what I feel called to do, because I'm getting that amygdala, that, like, overthinker, all the what ifs, versus just going and doing it. Like, if you trust your intuition, I think it probably is going to tell you what to do. It's either going to be to, like, reach out to the girl that you've been following for years on Facebook and just ask a question. It's going to be, like, taking a step towards that business endeavor that you kind of wanted to do. You told your husband, he's like, go for it. Like, you just needed one person to, like, speak a little life into you. Like, it's just a small step. It doesn't have to be it. But I guarantee you, like, you have what you need to do in you. You just got to stop thinking about it and do it.
I love that. That's, like, an aha moment.
Cut out the amygdala. I'm telling you, don't actually do that. But, like stop overthinking. Like,
especially for women, because I feel like women overthink everything.
Yeah. So, like, do you know Mel Robbins, like, 3, 2, 1?
Yes.
Like, go.
Yeah.
Like, with it, or 5-second rule. So, within that 5-second rule, like,
them.
Again, like, if you think about it, go do it. Versus, like, I should go work out. Oh, but I could do, like, 5 other things. And, like, if you literally don't get up and put your shoes on within 5 seconds, like, you're going to go do laundry instead. I get it. That's also important to do. But I bet the laundry will still be there after a 30-minute workout. So, literally, just go do the thing you told yourself you need to go do, because that was right.
Right.
I need to go hug my husband, but, like, I really just want to finish these dishes. Oh, no, just set the dishes down, actually, and go hug him. Like, that would probably be more meaningful.
And that'll make you feel better anyway.
I bet the dishes will still be there. Yep. Yeah. I would continue that thought. Like, if I don't hug my husband enough times, like, now I take, like, my dishes over my husband. Like, how ridiculous does that sound?
Yeah.
So, like, what
when you think about it like that, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
These are, like mine, like...
It's a lot.
But
we're all just trying our best.
We are trying our best.
Yeah.
But that's why we have these conversations.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee someone's listening to this and thinking, oh my gosh, this is me.
Right.
This is me.
Yeah.
I need to...
Feels good to feel seen.
I need to get a hold of Erin.
Oh, please do.
Reach out to Erin.
1-800-Erin. No.
I've loved this conversation.
Yeah.
It's been fun, uplifting, and I've said I guarantee women are listening to this saying, that is me.
Yeah.
That is me.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we wrap this up,
okay,
I have 4 questions. I'm going to ask every guest.
Okay.
You up for it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. First one should be easy. Okay.
Don't preface it with that because then I'll probably screw it up.
As a married woman, what's the best marriage advice you can give someone?
Oh, pray over your husband. I would just keep it simple like that. Pray over your husband. Because we try to control so much about what we're doing, what they do, that we just have zero control over. And so if we just like speak that into him, let God take control of it, and it gets it off your heart. Like, pray over your husband.
Pray
every
over
day.
your husband. Every day.
Mm-hmm.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned from your parents?
Ooh.
Because your parents are great. They are great. You
kinda
have
great.
great parents.
Gosh. I hit a home run with them. I don't even know how to limit it to one thing.
Couple.
Well, they are the most godly people I know. So get your butt to church and love on your Jesus. So that's them. Just caring for people, but also how that can start by taking care of yourself. They've always just, again, like had their daily bread first, and they are active. If you live in town, you've probably seen them walking on their 4-mile walking loop. I don't know how many times I hear that from people, and I love it because they're always seeing them. And they love each other so well. That I think actually would, if I had to narrow it down, it would probably be that, because like where some empty nesters are like, what do I do? Like they were like, yes, like we get to hang out with each other more, you know, and they're like going on trips and they're hiking and they're doing all this stuff. Like they like love each other and like they've loved raising kids, but now they get like more time together. And I think I want to be at that place.
Yeah.
Too.
Except your parents are a fan. And you, like you said, they love people.
Yeah.
Like I know your parents. Yeah. And they do.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah. Big athletic supporters, like
100%. I remember them from basketball. They just
all in,
and they are those parents too that they will cheer. If you didn't know whose kid they were, you wouldn't know.
Yes.
Because if I scored or if you scored, they'd be yelling. We were like,
yes,
they're great. They're wonderful. Shout out to Erin's parents.
Shout out to Erin's parents. Yes, they are the bomb.
What do you think people misunderstand most about you?
Oh, I feel like probably because I'm on social media all the time, and again, this is probably projecting and like our own mind that tells you things. Like I feel like probably people are like, oh, she is like super confident. She thinks it's all about her. Like da 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 da. Oh no, like I do that because I'm showing up for the unconfident woman like I used to be. And I think that's probably it. Like I think people look at me and they're like, she's got it all together. She is so confident all the time. Like she doesn't struggle with food anymore. Like she's got it made. Or you know, like she knows that. But I struggle with confidence every single day. There you go. There's your PSA. We all struggle with confidence.
Even Erin.
Even Erin. Yeah, I think that. People think I got it all together. I'm just as screwed up as you are.
But hey, that's a big thing to even admit that, right?
Just as screwed up as you are.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Hey.
Like
look, and now we connected. Like
I see you.
I feel seen.
Okay, last one. You ready?
Yeah.
What does her view from within mean to you?
I feel like it says more about like having that closure of who I am and my confidence and my life purpose versus like what do other people see about me, because I am a recovering people pleaser. Shout out to all the recovering people pleasers. But like that is no way to live your life.
Right.
And so I feel like her view from within is like, what do I see? Am I pleased with how I showed up today when I put my pet on my pillow tonight? Like, that's the view that I want to be pleased with. So thank you for this, because
thank you.
It matters.
Yes. Thank you so much for being on here. Like I said, this has been so fun, uplifting. Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. If you would like to contact Erin, you can find her on Facebook and Instagram. I'll tag her below. Be sure to follow Her View from Within on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube. Like and subscribe. Thanks for listening.